Hey everybody, Johnny Iron 2 here, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We last left off, we found out that Mr. Sholmes, his Stradivarius had been replaced with a garbage tier viola. Stradivarius, if you don't know, is a very, very expensive violin, and they're very, very rare. So what he did is he went and he pawned his Stradivarius because he's an idiot. And he didn't get his Stradivarius back. He got something else. So let's talk with Mr. Windybanks here, the pawn shop owner, or the pawn broker, I guess would be a more appropriate term. And let's see if we can figure out what happened with that Stradivarius. All right. I think I have to click in here. I clicked out. There we go. Now I can move around with WASD. Converse. Let's talk about the violin. Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes? This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windybank. The color of the wood is different, it has holes in it, it's not even the same size. A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes. I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There's only one way to make amends. Oh God. Wait, what? Holy crap. Why is this joyful music playing right now? Does anybody see what's going on the screen? This man ran and grabbed a gun. What is going on? I shall have to take my own life? Are we gonna stop this man? I don't think that will be necessary, do you? His finger's on the trigger too, like he is, man, look, the hammer is cocked back. This dude is not messing around. If I may just say one thing before I pop off? Yeah? It was you, sir, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry? As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, here it is. You did? And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May this guilt die with me. No, stop, my dear fellow. The fault is mine. I feel like there are probably some other things we should be talking about with this band here. Like some deep-seated issues that need to be addressed before we start talking about the violin again. Because this man went from 0 to 1,000 million in like a split second. Hey, we picked up the wrong violin. Okay, I'm going to kill myself. Didn't just say it. Ran, grabbed the gun, ran back into our face, put the gun to his own head and said he was going to kill himself because we grabbed the wrong violin. What the hell? What is going on here? I thought this was a kid's game. Let me rephrase that. Not a game meant for kids, but a game that would be friendly for kids to play. Kid-friendly, I guess is the best way to say it. Not with this dude just like straight talking about just offing himself in his own pawn shop. I digress. Let's go. Phew. It would appear that the fight is over. Oh my God. I'm stressed now. I'm like high-strung and stressed. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Windybank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Herlock Sholmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? I do believe you may be right, sir. Wow, you're going to laugh Like, we're not going to talk about what happened, are we? Okay. It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. So he's manic depressive. Mr. Sholmes is manic depressive. And this guy is just full tilt, just something just bubbling beneath the surface with this individual. Mr. Sholmes is talking about ending it at the beginning. Now this guy just, oh my Jesus. Okay, let's keep going. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I needn't remind you of the peculiar collection of items you've brought through my door in the past. Oh, peculiar items. In the extreme, ma'am. For example, you are not one to talk about extremes. The unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, the novels of Sherlock Sholmes, are some such. Oh my, a new full-fledged novel? And unpublished? A story I've yet to read, you mean? No, stop it! Why was this thought of a good idea as like a funny character trait for this guy? It is not, it is terrifying. It is stressing me to heck out. Ah, forgive me. Wait, before you die, you must tell me more. No, let's get the gun away from this poor gentleman. Unpublished story. I must know more. Tell me everything. Wow, Susato-san is really fired up now. The guy has a gun to his head and you're concerned about this story. Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof? Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Windybank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir. Not a farthing more. It houses something of very great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. I beg your pardon? A manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And that was that. As such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? Do I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this? I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings. Securely. Of course, sir, of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you, on my life. I mean, you don't seem to value your own life that much. This is all very strange. It's an understatement of the century there. Let's talk about pawnbrokery and then try to get away from this unstable man. I wonder, could I ask you something? Ah, a gentleman from the East, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull. Sorry? Aha, but for your splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say. Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting. Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? If I was Susato, I would definitely sell him the dress, or that's a kimono, right? Is that what it's called when a female wears them? I'm sorry, I know nothing of Japanese culture. I do not mean any offense to anyone, but I think that's called a kimono. If she sells that to him for 5 guineas, she can just go buy some rather, like, plain London clothes and then pocket like a ton of money. Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said that pawnbrokeries are used rather like banks here in London. Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you described. I appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure stowage. If, in that time, they repay the original sum to me plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned. That's exactly what I just described it as. In better prose, but still, I took the long way around. I still got there. But what happens if they don't pay you the money? Then the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me. So you never sell items before the 2 months has passed then? That's right, ma'am, that's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense is for me to end it all. I don't think that's in the pawnbrokers guild charter. I don't think you have to do that. The very idea, Mr. Windybank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually. Finally, somebody talks about it, says the man who is telling us all it was a good day to die only this morning. That's fair too. And let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs. Oh, what sort of measures? I engineered a simple device which Mr. Windybank has installed here in his shop. I call it the red-handed recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Windybank? What is that deep sigh about? Let's talk about the red-handed recorder. What on earth is a red-handed recorder? Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are two just below the ceiling. A camera? I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device. I don't see that in the room here. I only see that in that little sub-picture. Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. Let me guess. Is this final case going to be trying to track down your violin based off of the camera footage we have here? Here, I have an example I can show you. Has it been entered into the court record? Ah, yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop counter. 4 a.m. I developed a special type of film so sensitive, it produces a crystal clear image even in darkness. Really? That's extraordinary. Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look. So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed. Only if he stayed in there and was captured during the 30-minute timing cycle. If, perhaps, the camera had just taken a picture, someone entered the store, stole some items, and left before 30 minutes were up, they wouldn't be on the film. But did you not say that the photographic prints were taken in 30-minute intervals? Yes, who thought I was going to say what I was talking about? Indeed, as you say, my dear madam. Then what if the incident were to occur in between times? One could only say that would be a cruel twist of fate. I must confess your devices have been giving me some cause for distress as of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Windybank? Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. You most graciously placed not one, but 2 cameras in my shop, after all. Which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on the age where safety and security come at a price. Oh, heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Sholmes, allow me to return your precious violin. In before, violin missing. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Windybank. Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you tried to pop, So he actually did have the violin, okay. Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer. Why do you keep going to that? I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt. Fear not. Sorry? I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed. That's not really what I meant. Good day to you then, Mr. Windybank. It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes. We are going to leave this man in this state? So, Mr. Naruhodo, now we can explore at last. Let's do it. All right, he's put the gun down at least. Oh my goodness, this man. All right, we've already exhausted all dialogue with him. Let's look at the shovel now. That's not a shovel. We're going to look at this ledger apparently, and the gun that's pointing right at us. Look at that enormous ledger open on the counter there. Mr. Windybank is, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts. Why is the hammer cocked on his gun? He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. This revolver here. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. Huh? I assure you Mr. Windybank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with speed belying his portly size. Oh, you don't mean he'd blow his brains out? Indeed, in recompense for his blunder. I feel like this is poor taste. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Oh my. But in any case, of course we would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? All right, let's see. We can talk about, I'm assuming, the back room here. There seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there. That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Windybank keeps articles that are currently in pawn. Ah, I see. There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any larcenous activities. Recommend it or not, it's not something I tend to do. There is but one key, and Mr. Windybank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it into a small pot which he slides under his pillow. A pot? How on earth do you know about that, Mr. Sholmes? I am a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain. Mr. Sholmes, you are a wonder. And the prime suspect of this pawnbrokery is ever burgled. Burgled! All right. What else do we have to look at? This giant clock? Is that a clock? Look at this. What could this lovely, big, shiny box be? That, my dear madam, is a music box, so it's not a clock. Surely you have such things in your own country. Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? Sure, why not? Ah, what a sublime sound. No, a sublime sound is lovin' is what I got. That's a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels. I've never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There's a metal disc inside which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replicating the disc with another, or not replicating, replacing, any music you care to imagine can be played. My goodness, what a simply delightful machine. Indeed, though their popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course. Ah, science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. Okay. What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. crockery, footwear, clocks and watches, almost anything you care to imagine. Those are forfeited items offered for sale by the pawnbroker. What does that really mean, though? When you pawn, or colloquially pop an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale at a price of his choosing. Oh yes, now you've explained it. I'm noticing little price tags on everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. My treasured university uniform? Never. It embodies my student spirit. It's also the only thing you wear. Alright, talk about the general stuff on the shelves. Talked about this. Alright, let's go this way. Let's talk about this thing. What is this? It almost looks like a... what are they called? A Nickelodeon? Where basically it's like a flip book of pictures in here. You look through it and watch a small movie. Is that what that is? Now, what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have two little windows for looking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you're looking at is a stereoscope. So the Nickelodeons were like the arcades that had a bunch of stereoscopes in them, right? I think that's correct. Because you paid a nickel. I may be wrong, but I think I've heard that from somewhere. Stereoscope is what the machine itself is called. Fascinating. It's aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself. Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look. Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today. Alright then, I'm going to try it. Are we going to see her go cross-eyed? No, we are not. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, you must see at once! Oh, alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. So this one isn't a moving picture. This one just moves. It makes it look like a 3D image because of the perspective shift, right? So maybe I was wrong. Maybe a stereoscope isn't what was in the Nickelodeons like I was thinking about. Because that was a small, like, almost like a film that you would watch. What the? I don't believe it. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They're often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them. Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic? It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. So yeah, so all that is just two pictures taken at the same time of the same image from two different vantage points to simulate basically the distance between our eyes when we look at a picture, which is how we judge distance and depth. That's what it is. I'm going to just explain everything until one of them is right, right? Oh. We're not going to talk about Pinocchio here? Calendar? Calendar. That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th April, today's date. Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It's an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. You stay up to midnight to do that? The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Windibank. And who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Alright, so I'm going to call it, there's going to be some type of case that we must solve in this venue using those cameras, that calendar, the time, a few other things. Well, when the agreed storage period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say. Yeah, it makes sense. Oh yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job. Anything else? These succulents? No? What about this thing? Yeah, what's this? What is that? Oh, that's like a portable stereoscope, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I failed to read that. She said, I think she said something like, what is this? What is it used for? I have no idea. Ah. There's a small catch just here, look. We're going to open it, aren't we? Yeah, that's what that is. Oh my, that's amazing. It is some sort of spring-loaded mechanism, which we'll never manage to put back the way it was before. What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. Yeah, that's just a portable one, right? What? Only tuppence for it? That ain't fair, and you know it. The article is barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot offer more. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter. Come on, that can't be right. Have you even had a proper butcher's at it? A proper butcher's at it? I'm assuming that means like an evaluation or a look. I've seen all I need to see, young girl. That's her. Wait, don't we know? I'm sure I recognize her. She's trying to pawn stolen goods, isn't she? Yes, it's the young lady from Mr. McGilded's trial 2 months ago. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. Gordon Bennett, you lot. No, Gordon Ramsay. Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been well. She still has the grenade launcher? I thought Iris made her give that back. Eh, what? You remember me then, do you? Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure. So, what are you doing in here? Down and out like the rest of us? Nothing to eat? Come to pop that black weasel, sorry, coat, have you? What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Ah, good day. Unless I'm much mistaken, you would be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ah, Mr. Sholmes. So, you have something of value upon, do you? Allow me to see the article and I shall negotiate with Mr. Windybank on your behalf. Pull the other one. I don't need no help from some stuck-up D. Alright, you're getting a little too slang there for me to even follow what you're talking about. Get out of my business, go on, or I'll make trouble for you. As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence. He's really done it. He's gone. I'm sorry, but as I said, there really is no room for negotiation here. What is that thing he has in his hand? Oh, that's one of those music discs. Some kind of metal disc. And you, go on, leave me alone. Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend we aren't here. We shan't be offended in the slightest. Susada-san can really stand her ground when she wants to. Whatever. Okay, converse. Pawnbroker's customer. Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade. I mean, she seemed like the perfect person to use a pawnbroker. What are you talking about? You steal something, you bring it in, you get it pawned, you get money, you never intend to get it back, and you leave. Yeah, well, I am, all right? I'm a Londoner, just like everyone else. That a problem, is it? No, not at all. It's just that, well... Oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got it on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase. Written all over my Chevy Chase. All over my Christmas vacation. All over my European vacation. All over my Vegas vacation. All over my vacation. Yes, I know Chevy Chase is a made-up name by the actor Chevy Chase and that there are actual places named Chevy Chase. But still, that's where my mind goes when I see that. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Also, if you enjoy my content, please give me a like, comment, and or subscribe if you have the time. And if you feel like doing so, you don't have to. But I'd really appreciate it. Helps the channel grow. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.